How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you once again for stopping in and hanging out with me for a little bit of time in your day. We've got some cool things to cover today. As we all know, the 2025 NFL Draft has officially concluded. The Chiefs have 7 new draftees, as well as a ton of undrafted free agents that they brought in. But of the 7 draftees, there's been a lot of talk throughout the media that I've seen in the past couple days of which one of these players is going to have the biggest impact the most on year one. While the Chiefs addressed offensive and defensive lines, as well as a majority of the defensive side of the ball through the NFL draft, there are players on the offensive side that could be taking over roles sooner than expected. As you might have read before, I touched on Carson Steele might be in a position where Brashard Smith takes over his role one day. Who knows, given that he was a drafted player and Carson Steele was an undrafted player who eventually made the roster. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But the real kicker of the video this time is surrounding Josh Simmons. Now, Josh Simmons, as you guys know, was the Chiefs' first round draft pick. They moved up. No, they moved down to get him, actually. And the league consensus was that Simmons would have been a top 15, a top 20 draftee if he hadn't had that injury to his left knee. This worked out great for the Chiefs because if he would have been healthy, they wouldn't have been able to get him. With enough teams passing up on him, not wanting to deal with the injury or the risk of the injury, it's crucial that the Chiefs ended up getting him as he can help solidify the offensive line. That being said, there is a new offensive lineman that was brought in before the NFL draft, and his name's Jaylon Moore. Now, I've seen so far that Jaylon Moore could be taking the back seat to Josh Simmons, or Josh Simmons should be, learning from Jaylon Moore. He's a rookie coming in. So we're going to dive into that. And when you look at them on paper, especially from what they were just able to do last season, it's pretty comparable. But the leagues that they played at, obviously, Simmons playing in college and Jaylon playing over in San Francisco, the leagues are different. It's going to be kind of skewed category. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind right before we dive into this. So let's break down the Jaylon Moore signing. So before the NFL draft, they went out and signed Jaylon Moore to a 2-year deal to help solidify the left tackle spot, as we all predicted them to either do in NFL free agency or the NFL draft. And as we know now, they've done both. So there was concerns around fans, the Chiefs kingdom, of Jaylon Moore starting for the Chiefs in 2025. Granted, because he's only had 12 starts in his career in 55 games. But he's been able to show that he's valuable when he's on the field, regardless if his starts are minimal. Last season, according to PFF, he played 259 snaps at left tackle out of his 271 total snaps that he played. Some outstanding and encouraging statistics that surround him are that he did not record a single penalty. And I know that for a guy who's not playing every single day or not starting a majority of the snaps, that's not saying a whole lot, but that does prove that he's got discipline on that line. That's exactly what they need, the Chiefs do, in order to protect Patrick Mahomes, regardless of this phenomenon that the Chiefs have the NFL referees in the back pockets always going against them. And that's a different topic. But Last season, he only allowed one quarterback sack. Once again, he played in 5 starts last season. He played a majority of the year, but the snap count is low. So in 271 total snaps, he allowed 1 quarterback sack. That's pretty good. Not saying that it's impressive that he has been able to do that without being consistently on the field, but only allowing 1 quarterback sack and 0 penalties during that time, that's great. That I feel like it's a unappreciated art in the world of football. Given that he's got some experience already in the National Football League, I believe that it's more probable that they start the year with Jaylon Moore on that left tackle position. Hear me out. So there could be some issues surrounding Josh Simmons' knee. It's predicted that he's going to get better before training camps to be able to compete for that role. But if he's unable to, or if there's some lingering, or he's favoring that knee just a tad, I believe it might be better just to give Jaylon Moore a chance to take over that left tackle spot and then slowly build Josh Simmons into that role. But I do see Josh Simmons starting games this year, as well as, filling in crucial moments. He's, like I said, a top 20, top 15 type draftee. He's got enough skills when he's healthy. In fact, last year, he played in just those 6 games. But in his career, his collegiate career, he has played in 32 games. Last season, before he got injured, he played in 306 snaps at left tackle. As you might recall or remember me saying, Jaylon Moore only played 259. In 2023 rather, Simmons had 824 snaps at the left tackle position in 2023, which is outstanding compared to what Moore had. Yeah, Josh Simmons is a very good football player. He was a crucial part on the teams that he was on in college. As we know, he wasn't a mainstay for the Buckeyes, but in those 6 games, the tape speaks for itself. In 2 years, he's only allowed 1 quarterback sack, which is impressive. As is, that statistic alone should warrant a conversation of him being involved in a starting role conversation. And his PFF grade was 74.4 in those 6 games that he played. Jaylon Moore had a 75. So you see, they're very similar players. I don't think that Jaylon Moore has as high of a ceiling as Josh Simmons, but he's might be the guy to go with in the beginning part of the year, as I stated, kind of letting Simmons get a feel for things, learn how defenders are going to try and get around him. This is a big difference from college to NFL, especially if he's got some knee issues that could be still lingering. He could just be pushing through. I think that it's crucial that the Chiefs, if they really want Jaylon Moore, who they've invested 2 years in, to get comfortable in a starting role, you've got to throw him out there to start majority. If he crashes and burns, give another chance to Josh Simmons. There's also rotational pieces on the offensive line. We saw it last year. There's multiple guys who can play several different spots. So with that said, that's going to conclude the podcast for today. I do think that there is a world where if training camp goes so well for Josh Simmons and not as good for Jaylon Moore, Simmons is going to start getting a majority of those starts. That is, if he can stay healthy, if his knees are right. He's been completing exercising and training. He's going back to see his doctor right before to get things right. So he is taking the necessary precaution to get ready for his rookie season. All right, that's going to conclude it for today. Thank you guys so much for stopping in and spending a little bit of time with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another topic breaking down as we get closer and closer to the 2025 NFL season. Thank you guys so much. Remember, be kind to one another. I'll see you tomorrow.